Dean McKee, department heads of our 3 programs, distinguished faculty, families, friends, and fellow graduates. It's a great day to graduate. My name is Brittany Brown, and I have the honor of representing the many voices of this graduating class of 2015. As students, we have asked countless questions to our professors, especially in studio, and there's one particular answer to our questions that would drive us insane. It depends. It's as though the professors conspired together and rehearsed this line. After the dreaded, "it depends," they would go on to explain how all the different possible answers and why every possibility might rely on one particular thing. We students would then ask more questions, and the answer would be, "it depends." Well, graduates, we stand before the great unknown of our life, or even of next week, stepping off into our future, and there are so many possibilities and new places, but it all depends. It depends on what you have learned during your time here at the University of Arkansas in the Fay Jones School of Architecture. Now, our class is a special class because we have experienced a unique time of firsts. We were the first class to have interior design join our school back in the fall of 2010. We were also part of the first record-breaking enrollment of a freshman class for the UofA. The landscape architecture and architecture studios for our freshman year were in the old Walker Hall. My studio was even in the penthouse suite with the old elevator. The 3 disciplines were in 3 separate buildings for a couple of years while the renovation and addition took place. From the Ag Annex to the Old Men's Gym to Memorial Hall, we all became very close with our own department. Then 2 years ago, all the departments were finally housed under one roof for the first time. Personally, I felt like a freshman all over again when we moved into the new Walker Hall. It was a new experience, but with familiar faces. On top of the new environment, a lot of lessons were learned. One lesson I learned right off the bat freshman year was that everything always takes longer than you planned. Whether it's building a model, rendering perspectives in Photoshop, or trying to print your boards on the plotter an hour before you present, which never works. Everything always takes longer than you planned. Lesson number 2, always hit the save button. Always, every couple of minutes in fact. Many a tear has been shed because of lost hours or days of work disappeared into thin air. Another lesson I learned is that endurance is essential. I know that for a fact. I think even our family and friends in the room can attest to putting up with our grouchy selves after spending a couple weeks living in studio. All of those endless days working on projects with a life supply of caffeine and then trying to stand during the critique and hear about everything you could have done. I have learned more about endurance from studio than I ever did running a marathon, and there's a reason why the graduating classes from the School of Architecture are so small. We are the ones who endured and persevered. It depends on your experiences while studying abroad. All of the departments have had the privilege to visit other countries, and some of us have had the blessing of visiting several. We got to taste, smell, see, and hear things we had never experienced before. We got lost in the streets of Rome, had a studio space in a palace, ate the world's best gelato, visited ruins of an ancient villa, rode a boat at dusk in Paris, navigated the tube in London, climbed Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh, and so much more. We all have countless memories that we will always cherish and probably reminisce about every time we see each other in the future. For me, studying abroad also brought a new perspective to life in the States. I learned to be more flexible, spontaneous, and adventurous in life, and to not let routine get in the way of experiencing joy. It depends on your family and friends. It's safe to say that our studio is a family. They're the only ones who truly understand what we've gone through because they've gone through it too. We do get annoyed with each other, especially during those late nights in studio, yet at the end of the day, we know we have each other's backs because we are family. But I know that we would not be here today without the love and support from our family and friends outside of studio. Y'all are the ones that cheered us on when we didn't think there was anything to cheer about. Y'all gave us pep talks, care packages, a hot, healthy meal, not junk food, and listened to us vent endlessly about projects. For that, we cannot thank you enough. I have learned from my time here how truly important it is to have the support and continual love from family and friends. It depends on your own personal beliefs. This is most important because your beliefs shape the way you look at the world and everything in it. My faith in Jesus is central to who I am as a person, flaws and all. I can't brag about my love for God because I fail him daily, but I can brag about his love for me because it never fails. Without him, I know I wouldn't be standing before you today. So to my colleagues, it's crucial to have a foundation on which you can stand. All in all, these lessons may seem small, trivial, and even annoying at times. They've taught us responsibility, motivation, endurance, spontaneity, and flexibility, just to name a few. When we all go off into the real world, we cannot forget the lessons learned in these last few years. I know how cliche that sounds, but y'all know it's true. George Washington Carver once said, "How far you go in life depends on your being tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and strong, because someday in your life you will have been all of these." So to my fellow graduates, today we start on a path through the unknown and uncertainties of life. I encourage you to seize opportunities, recall lessons learned, remember your experiences, because yes, what you do and where you end up all depends.